Chris Roberts here for Fight Up TV, joined by Gallagher. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Good stuff. So obviously it's been a busy couple of months really for yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll go into kind of what's been going on and everything. I just want to start off with the weekend's action. I don't know whether you managed to catch any of that showing a couple box on the weekend and what were your kind of thoughts on that event?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the fights. Obviously, the John Ryder one.
I think that's one I was obviously looking to lead into.
Yeah,
obviously
the John Ryder
with
fight.
It being a mandatory shot of Callum. Can you see that happening? Or?
No, I can't see that happening whatsoever. That fight has no appetite for Callum Smith. Good win for John Ryder. He's had some great wins. I was very surprised they didn't make the John Ryder Rocky Fielding fight once Rocky Fielding had won that regular belt. I thought they fought before, it was very close and it was just a natural gimme.
Yeah.
John Ryder, like I said, good win at the weekend. I have to question how that opponent got so highly ranked. Caused them a few problems early on, but you could always knew it was just a case of John taking his time and letting them shots go, and he's a very good fighter, John Ryder, and he deserves his moment in the sunshine, but he won't be fighting Callum Smith.
How does that work then, obviously, because John is now the mandatory for a shot at Callum.
Yeah.
How does Callum kind of avoid that fight, if you like?
Well, there's unification fights out there. They're the fights that Callum Smith's interested in. They're the big fights, the juicy fights that he wants. Your Benavides, them type of fights, they're the ones that he wants, or even up at the division above as well. So Callum wants to fight in Anfield next year, and to fill Anfield, he needs a big name in boxing to be his dance partner for that. Yeah, so that's it.
How far in terms of negotiations are you with Anfield? Is that been discussed? The match you've been
There's provisional dates being set now, and yeah, negotiations are going very well with Liverpool, and also we've made a short list of opponents, and negotiations have gone very well with one of them extremely well, which I'm happy about.
Can you go into any details of who potentially that opponent would be? Or
well, no. When you look at the names out there that you'd want on the other side coming out that dressing room in Anfield, you'd want your Triple Gs, your Canelos, your Badou Jacks, your Donna Stevensons, your Chavezes. They're the type of names that you want, wouldn't it? So Andre Ward, so they're the type of names, big names that you want for Anfield, and they're what we're looking for.
And obviously Rocky Fielding's got a huge fight against Canelo.
Yeah.
How do you see his sort of chances in that fight? Obviously a massive opportunity for him.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a massive opportunity. Fair play to him. He's rebuilt his career well since the loss to Callum Smith. He's had some good wins, and he's got an opportunity now to set himself up, him and his family, for life and a good payday. And I've had fighters in a similar position where they've said, "Oh, what are you fighting him for? That you've got no chance." But people don't understand. Fighters want to test themselves against the best in the world, and Rocky's got an opportunity to do that and get paid well for it. So fair play to him, and all credit for him for taking it.
And obviously, in terms of Callum Smith's obviously victory over George Groves, now the kind of the dust has settled on that. What did you make obviously of that? What, firstly, performance obviously that he put in on the night, and to the whole experience of Saudi Arabia?
Joe, I think it was one of the best fight weeks I've ever had as a coach. Everything went perfect. We went out there the Thursday before. We'd spent the week there, training went well, and then the performance on top of it. I was really pleased in his finish, because there were shots that we worked on. He half crippled me earlier on in the week in Jeddah with that right hook to the body. I was on painkillers for a day or two and limping around, and then to see him deliver it in, and it's about very much like when Callum Johnson beat Buglioni this year. It's keeping your head in the moment and doing the drills that we'd done, and Callum Smith kept his head and placed the shots that we'd done the drills in and finished it, and that made me happy as a coach that he listened and he was able to carry out of it. It also left me a little bit more frustrated because there was still so much more from Callum Smith to go in that fight, come in that fight, but you can't turn your nose up on it on the performance. George Groves is a great fan. I'm a huge fan of George Groves. I've enjoyed watching his fights on the build up to the fight, and it's just a bit surreal in there with your lad fighting him. And George always is a threat with either hand, and thought Callum negated the distance well, and his trademark check left hook did the damage.
It was quite remarkable, really, in terms of, you know, the performance obviously that he put against, you know, Nicky Holskin, obviously a very awkward opponent, a last minute change and everything else. It was remarkable, that kind of rise, and now kind of the platform that now is given, and obviously with the world titles that kick on, he's almost now gone, well, he is into superstar status, isn't he?
Well, he is. It's funny enough, we just got through the post the other day, his Box Rec #1 t-shirt, and it's just little things like that, and then his Ring Magazine belt, and you see that they're classing him as a champion, all them things, and it's been a month now since it happened, and it still doesn't seem like it really happened. But like you say, he's gone from there to there. But I did always say on the build up to it, the better the opponent, the better Callum, and it shows Mendy, Fielding, Mohammadi, now George Groves, and that's what I'm saying. Callum needs to be motivated mentally, and that's why we need the right opponent in Anfield to get the best Callum Smith.
Yeah. Moving on, obviously we've got Paul Butler in action this weekend. Obviously it's fight week for him. He's on the reserve list for the World Boxing Super Series. What sort of shape do you see him in, obviously following his defeat earlier in the summer?
No, Paul's had a really good break. It's the longest time he's been out of a boxing gym since the age of 10, he's told me. So he's come back in now. There was always a chance over here he'd be on it, so he was in the gym training, and then when we got confirmation he was on it as a reserve, he's like put his foot to the floor. Sparring last week was really good. The devilment of Paul's work is back, that glint in his eye, and listen, all last week we were getting phone calls about Denair's weight. He's out, and we've just got to stay focused. We've got a difficult fight ourselves. We have a French opponent who's got a very good record, and we've got to deal with him. If for whatever reason somebody doesn't make the weight on Friday, we have prepared to step in. Paul's on weight, he's done his board check weighs, and we'll be willing to step in whether Denair fails weight or Burnett fails weight, and that's it. With the World Boxing Super Series, you have that opportunity, and having been there with Callum Smith and Nicky Holskin stepping in, you've got to grab them opportunities with both hands, and Paul's ready.
I asked him about this actually earlier, just in terms of, you know, his mindset, and kind of, you know, he's obviously focused on his opponents in front of him. He has to be, but he must have sort of one eye, and these rumours swirling around with Denair and missing weight or being injured or whatever, and the opportunity to go into the World Boxing Super Series. How does he sort of manage that mindset going into fight week?
Yeah, it's been difficult training, because the last 2 weeks now we've been having to do sparring for a Ryan Burnett or an Denair, which is totally different to the opponent that is sparring. And this is no disrespect to the opponent, we're not overlooking the opponent, we're just abiding by the rules of the tournament. We've got to be ready to step in. But Paul is on it, been watching him, and like I say, 5 o'clock on Friday is the weigh-in. Paul could go from a reserve at 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock and fighting for a world title against Ryan Burnett, and that's how different this competition is. It can change like that, and Paul has to be ready to go in there and apply himself. So no, he's looking forward to it. It's an opportunity for him.
And then in terms of Liam Smith, I know he's in negotiations with Frank with regard to a potential December date. I know nothing's officially been confirmed, a few sort of names swirling about and everything else. How's he looking, obviously following the defeat again in the summer, and what's he looking to bounce back, and what sort of opponent is he looking for now? What sort of opponent does Liam Smith need in this part of his career?
Liam just wants to get back in the big fights. It's very similar to his brother Callum. They're the fights that motivate him. We've looked around at the European level, the European champions at light middle, at middleweight. Maybe that may be an option. I keep hearing about Mung Hai giving up the belt after his next defence, so really need Liam back and to get a win, and then most will be an opportunity to fight for his old belt, vacant belt, against the Australian Hogan, who beat Jimmy Kelly in a final eliminator. So I think that's the path Liam's looking to go down. As far as a date yet for December, we haven't had one. Liam's in the gym, he's training, and he's looking to get out before the end of the year, hopefully. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got, you know, a lot of fighters, you know, chasing big fights. You know, another one is Anthony Crolla. He fights on the Tommy Bellew undercard in 2 weeks' time. How's he looking in training? And obviously, what sort of his aspirations? Again, he's got a world title eliminator. But again, is he sort of hungry to get back amongst that world elite level?
Yeah, Anthony Crolla, training's going very well for Anthony. I feel bad sometimes, because I do interviews and I think, Crolla, this could be his last season, but then when the way that he performs in training, the way that he looks after himself outside of the ring, I don't think you can get any better conditioned British boxer at the moment in Anthony Crolla. He just keeps rolling back the years in his sparring performances. He's got a real tough fight against Dow Jordan, who was due to fight Jorge Linares before he moved up. Jordan's a good fighter, a hard fighter. Tony Bellew, Usyk is the headline act, is the big fight on the show, but the fight will be Anthony Crolla. Dow Jordan will be the fight of the night. Both kids like fighting inside pocket, both similar ages, both being pro at the same time, both had similar fights, and both really at the last chance saloon. They're both fighting for a chance to fight Lomachenko, and this is a world title final eliminator. And Anthony Crolla is looking forward to going back to the arena. He boxed there over a year ago against Ricky Burns, which that seems to go off the radar. That was a great win for him, coming back after losing to Jorge Linares, and he can't wait to go out there. And I think, like I say, Anthony Crolla has that crossover appeal like Ricky Hatton did. He's liked just as much on Merseyside as he is in Manchester. He's just a nice kid, Anthony Crolla, and the same like Ricky Hatton is. And I know it's Bellew's gig, but they'll be all cheering for Anthony Crolla as well.
I mean, there's obviously some fights as well, potentially in the MBN. Obviously, Anthony Crolla, massive ticket seller. I think, you know, a lot of UK boxing fans obviously want to see Lomachenko in this country box, and who better, you know, to fight, you know, Anthony Crolla for the world title. Amazing potential night in Manchester.
Yeah, and Anthony, like you just asked me before about Rocky and Canelo, Anthony wants to test himself against the world. Alright, and he came up short against Linares, but he'd love to step in and have a chance against Lomachenko. That's like when Ricky Hatton lost to Mayweather. He didn't turn around and say, well, don't put him in Pacquiao. He wanted to try himself again. And that's like Rocky, alright, he lost to Callum, but he wants to go try now against Canelo. And Anthony Crolla's no different. They want to test themselves against the best in the world. And alright, and so it is, but we've got to get past Dow Jordan first. Dow Jordan's a very, very hard fight. It's going right off the radar. But like I say to you, on the night, time will tell that this will be the fight of the night.
Yeah, and obviously that's on the Tony Bellew undercard. What are you making, obviously, of that fight now with 2 weeks out? Which sort of shape do you think Tony's in, and what do you fancy his chances in that fight? I think he's generally, you know, the consensus is he's going in as underdog. How do you see that fight panning out?
Yeah, I seen when I was in Chicago, Callum Johnson, Donald was on the bill. I seen Tony. He had to do a double take at first. The amount of weight that he's lost, he's got his weight down. I think that was the big thing. As Tony, he's got 100% belief in himself, and when he carries the punching power that he has as well, and coming off the wins that he has, he couldn't be at a better time to fight Usyk. I think both fighters are coming off great wins. Usyk in the World Boxing Super Series and Tony over the David Haye. Confidence is flying high on both of them. I think Usyk, people openly admit, has the better boxing skills, the better boxing brain, but Tony Bellew has improved over the last 2 or 3 years. He's matured, and what he has got is punching power, and the longer the fight goes, I favour Bellew to catch Usyk with a shot. If Usyk switches off for that split second, you're in the wrong place and in the wrong ring with the wrong person, because Tony Bellew will catch you, and if he catches you, he'll take you out. I think early on it's got to be a chess match and Tony having to adjust, but if Usyk goes in a cruise control and switches off, Tony will take advantage of that opportunity. It's a great fight. Can he win? Of course he can. He carries the punching power to him. Will he win? All depends on the night, and like you say, that crowd will be like in football, an extra man in there that night as well.
Yeah. I want to ask you a little bit about the Kell Brook Amir fight. I know, you know, these two guys are someone that, you know, Liam's obviously interested in fighting at some point, and, you know, it's a fight that kind of turns him on. But in terms of that fight happening, what's your sort of opinion on this hydration clause that's being, obviously they're going down to 147. I think Kell Brook is struggling to get to 147. I think that would be fair to say. What do you make of this sort of row about the hydration clause, with it not being a non-title fight?
Well, I just think, listen, if Kell Brook's going to make the 147, the fight's made at 147, then that's it. Amir will most probably go up. He's 12-14 pounds. Kell's similar. It's about making that 147. We all know how much it's going to hurt Kell at 147. If he's making it and he's made the weight, then go on. Personally, do I want to see the fight? Not really. I do feel this is becoming now like a Mayweather Pacquiao situation. We're not got to see the best Kell versus the best Amir. I think that should have really happened soon as Kell became world champion against Sean Porter. Amir was flying then at the time over wins over Devin Alexander, and the likes, and I think that's when the fight should have happened. I feel there's fights, I've seen Spencer Fearing going on the fight and this and this, there's fights over the years that haven't happened. Ricky Hatton, Junior Witter, they never happened. Matthew Macklin, Darren Barker, big rivalry, had never happened. There's fights that haven't happened, and I think this has got to be a fight that'll never happen, and the longer it goes, the less interested, because we're not got to get the best Kell or the best Amir now, and this should have happened 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's still a good fight, but it's not like,
not for all the
man. It's not as you say what it could have been.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
It's very much like saying near the tail ends of the career, say a Martin Murray, Matthew Macklin fight. Well, it's a good fight, but it wasn't what it should have been or could have been. Very much like Macklin, Barker, Hatton, Witter. This is like, it hasn't happened, so this is another one that isn't going to happen, and if it should happen, it should have been there, because they would have had a rematch since then and had more money. And I just feel in boxing there's a lot of fighters that I'd love an opportunity to fight on these platforms, to earn a little bit of this money. I have no money, and I think sometimes they're abusing the system for making money. No, you missed your time, it should have been then. And I think the TV broadcasters will, now you've missed it now, gone. We've got to give that opportunity to these kids now who do want to have the fights, have the big fights, willing to fight the best. And I think that's the standpoint has to be, well, if you don't do it then, and it isn't, we're not leaving the door open for you, we've got to move on for kids that do want to fight and challenge the best of the world and get involved in unification fights.
Yeah. You mentioned then Martin Murray, actually. I was going to ask you about Liam Smith potentially going against Martin Murray, or even Billy Joe Saunders. Is that a fight that can
No, I don't think that there's nothing. I don't think for Liam Smith, no disrespect to Billy Joe or Martin Murray, that Liam could really get from that. Billy Joe doesn't have a world title no more. Martin's doing his thing at middleweight, and then middleweights, Liam Smith's a light middleweight. It'd be different if you said, right, if you beat Martin Murray in a final eliminator, you're fighting him, but Canelo again, would that sell? I don't know, do you understand? I think Liam's weight is like middleweight, and what's the point of moving up just to end up moving back down? It's just, I just don't see it. Makes no sense for Liam Smith whatsoever, unless he was going to move up to middleweight and there was a title opportunity at middleweight. I know Liam personally himself wants to fight Jarrod Hurd, mad for it, wants to fight, loves the fight, and he just wants to get back in the rankings, get us a win and go again at light middleweight.
Yeah, I think the thing with those two names, obviously, in terms of, we're talking about making fights, making it easy, the politics and everything around it. I suppose those two fights that we mentioned, Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray, they're easy to make.
Well, there you go. Well, they can make it now. Martin Murray was due to fight Billy Joe Saunders, so go and make it.
Yeah.
There's a fight there for a world title final eliminator. They're both middleweights. There you go. And there's previous beef there.
Yeah,
so
it's just a shame that world title's not in it for Martin. Really,
yeah. So like I say, Martin, he's having a good tail end to his career, and the same with him. He's just patient there, and it'd be great if he got an opportunity against a world champion. He's got WBC silver, if he got a world title shot. So Martin's most probably thinking, I don't want to fight Liam Smith for, do you know what I mean? What's that give me? He doesn't give me a world title shot. Billy Joe's thinking the same. So I think Martin's looking for his Canelo payday again, one last big call. So fair play to him, deservedly so. He's had a great career.
Yeah, thank you. And just to finish off the interview, obviously, it's almost like we're spoiled between November and December here in terms of the events, world level events that are happening. I just wanted to ask you about the Tyson Fury and the Deontay Wilder, the whole press tour, everything that kind of gone with that, the hype surrounding that. What do you make of that fight? Is Tyson Fury ready for that fight? And do you think Deontay Wilder can kind of step up to Tyson Fury, and how do you see that fight panning out?
Joe, it's a very interesting fight. Tyson Fury is very good at the mind games, and you've seen with the press conferences with David Hay, and he ended up pulling out. Batman situation. You just think, watching that tour, you just think he's got into Wilder's head here. He's got into Wilder's head. 100%.
I've spoke about this to
100%.
I asked this to a lot of boxers. Does that work? And I get very mixed responses.
100%. At that level, and you've got to remember for Deontay. He's always gone around for someone that's always shouting bottom squad. I didn't hear that much often, and he's gone away having to think, how am I come across in this press? Then press tours can make and break you, how you come across. Tyson dominated him, messing around in his head. Deontay's never come across anyone like that before. He's gone away, gone into training camp, and he'll be totally fully focused on Tyson, but being humiliated and people around him laughing about it and stuff like that, that can affect the fighter a little bit. It can add fire to the fuels and train, right, I'll show you in the ring. But then when you cut away that, you go to the fight. Tyson Fury, is he ready? We don't know. I'm really pleased he's took himself away. He's in Big Bear, he's in a serious camp up there surrounded by good fighters that share that gymnasium with Abel Sanchez. He's got his mindset and he's away from it all. Deontay Wilder's gone away from it. But Tyson doesn't want to be messing around with 10 rounds against this person, this European level. He wants to go for it like he did Klitschko, and that's the appetite that motivates him, and he's going for it. Can he win it? I think he can do. I think he can befuddle him, he can mess him around, everything else. Can Deontay Wilder win it? Yeah, he can. We all know Wilder needs the one shot. That's all he needs. And I think Wilder's credibility has shot up after beating Ortiz. I think that was a fantastic win. He got hurt. He managed to come through it, and for anyone to flatten him late on in a fight like he did, Ortiz is some unit. And I just think so, wow, Tyson, you've got to be switched on all the time there, because Wilder only needed the one shot.
I think this was probably the same for Wilder and Anthony Joshua in terms of where they've come in their career, particularly the last couple of fights. As you obviously mentioned, the Ortiz fight with Deontay Wilder, their ability to get off the canvas and go again, the mental capacity to go the full distance in fights. I think that was always the question mark. Can they get, if they get it on the chin, can they take it? What do they like? And I think they've both come through that with flying colours, which I think their stock has risen massively, which probably makes it a lot closer fight than it was originally. Because as I say, my opinion on this was, at one point, Tyson Fury was the man. I think it's a lot closer now. Is there a more put on these comeback fights, and in terms of the emphasis of him only fighting two guys and two poor guys and not really impressing? Is there too much put on that?
Well, I think Tyson's done the right thing here, because for the last 2 fights, he's had 2 fights to lose weight. The weight's off, now he's training for a fight. If Tyson wouldn't have took this fight, he'd be stuck in that circle just below of your Charles Martins, your Puglevs, your Ortiz's, Bernard Stavern, them type of fighters, where you're not going to get much credit for. Tyson was the champion, like Ali was. Ali's come back and gone straight in against Fraser. Tyson sees himself in that mould. I'm coming back. I've had me a couple of things right now, I'm ready to go, and fair play to him. He's got nothing to lose. Tyson, full credit for him. Wins, he's pulled it off. Lose, so what? We can sit in and go, he needed 1 or 2 more warm-up fights, and he'll come again. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain, so full credit to him.
But he looks in decent shape as
He's
well,
got a certain mindset, and he's in there. He's got good people around him, and he's doing it his way this time, and that's evidently clear. He's doing it this way. Wilder's a good fighter, and the winner of that is the heavyweight champion of the world, regardless who has belts. But still, the heavyweight champion of the world will either be Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. AJ has to beat one of them to become the world heavyweight champion.
Did you see him on the Joe Rogan podcast? Or did you
I heard bits of it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
No, it's good. It's very good. He's an honest fighter. He isn't afraid to speak out about them issues where some fighters wouldn't, for being seen as a sign of weakness. He, the character is, can get away and say that and be real and have everyone go, fair play, good to you, where other fighters, and there's numerous fighters all over the country suffering, but suffering in silence, and it's, if they want to take Tyson's lead, but they don't have the stage to say, where Tyson Fury has the stage of the world to say it. Does that make sense? There's lots of fighters, 6-rounders, 8-rounders, former British champions that have them issues, but no one's given them a mic to give them the tools to talk about it. Tyson is, and he's speaking on behalf of an awful lot of fighters in the boxing game.
I thought it was brilliant, and just in terms of his own profile as well, to be honest and open and vulnerable in that sense, makes him an even more likeable character. I think from the boxing hardcore's point of view, I think they're already bought into him generally. I think some of the casuals, maybe not, from what's gone on in the past and some comments and stuff, but I was getting a lot of texts off casuals saying, this is unbelievable, this is like the best thing I've ever heard, it's amazing. So it's great that he's making that impact, really. Just to finish off, another massive fight just before Christmas, Frampton, Warrington. How are you seeing that fight panning out, and is that 50-50 or you favour?
Yeah, it's a 50-50 fight. I thought, listen, when it was first made, I thought it'd be Frampton. beginning of the year, he asked me I'd go Frampton all day long. I picked Selby to beat Josh Warrington, hold my hands up. I thought, wow, I just thought Selby would operate a different less. Although I knew he was tight at the weight, no excuses away, but I just thought Josh Warrington, that was like a hat into Zoom moment. It was just written in the stars. It was due to happen that night at Elland Road. Josh Warrington, no one would have beaten Josh Warrington that night. He was absolutely adamant he was winning that. Coming off that win now, that belief, I can do it, I have beat Selby. And let's not face it, no one was rushing to fight Lee Selby. Carl wasn't, do you know what I mean? None of the other super featherweights or featherweights in the world were rushing to fight him. And Josh Warrington did it. That confidence Josh has got to take into that now is huge. He's only got the trip down the road. He's got to bring all his fans with him. I think Manchester's got to be chaos that night. It's good I think Cal Frampton, he now has a real test, a real challenge. This is his first test challenge now in a while, since most probably the Leo Santa Cruz fight. And you know, this is a good fight. Carl, if he can get back on his boxing, using that back foot, doing the weight right. Both kids have to do the weight right to make it a good fight. Because I do feel like Carl could easily go to super featherweight. I think when Carl fought Scott, both of them should have really fought at featherweight. He would have got a better fight then. And I feel now you could much do Carl at super featherweight. It'd still be a good solid fighter. But no, I think it's a really good fight. It's a very hard fight to pick, a very hard fight to pick. Josh Warren's winner Selby has closed that tight. It's a toss-em, and I'm going to have to sit on the fence in this. It really is a hard one. The one thing Carl has always carried with him is that power. At super bantamweight, Selby was never known as a big hitter, more of a boxer. And this is a different type of fight for Josh Warrington. He's going to be more switched on. He can't get hit as much as he did against Selby. He can't walk in against Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton's got the tools to manner him. But does he still have the engine to keep a young, fresh Josh Warrington off him? I mean, it's just an interesting fight.
Yeah, well, it's exciting times. As I say, it's an amazing couple of months, particularly in Britain for boxing. It's incredible, isn't it? Really? Oh, do you know time? Kind of, what would you kind of? Is this probably one of the best times?
Yeah, of course. When you look at it, we have Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua fighting for all the world titles. You go down, then you've got Tony Bellew fighting Usyk for all the world titles. Go down the division like heavyweights doing, right? Super middleweight, we've got the #1 super middleweight on the planet here in the country. Go down then middleweight, we just lost Billy Joe, but we're strong there in that division coming through. Obviously we've got Usyk, the Gale possibly coming up as well. Like middleweight, we've got Amir, Kell Brook, Callum Smith, do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of people knocking on the door as well, just behind as well.
Yeah, exactly. Lightweights, you've got Campbell, Crolla, light welterweights, Flanagan, Saylor.
Shout out to Jordan Gill as well from his performance on it. It was incredible, really well. So it's unbelievable, like, you know, these guys are really taking their opportunity.
And the featherweights, super featherweights, McDonald's, your Framptons, your Quiggs, they're still there, but you've got the young kids coming through, Selby's, young Selby, the bantamweights as well, like, I mean, it's a British boxing. We used to be really good with one or two divisions, whether it's Naz's, Ricky's and Kawasaki's, or then Lewis and someone else, but every division, there's like 8 divisions that are really on fire at the moment at World, so no, I think it is the best times.
Yeah, well listen, Joe Gallagher, thanks very much for talking to Fight Up TV. It's always brilliant to get your insight, much appreciated, so it's been great talking to you.
No problem, thank you.
Good luck in the next couple of weeks, obviously some big tasks coming up, and well done, obviously congratulations with everything that's gone fire with Callum and everything else, so good man, thanks very much for your time.
No problem, cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks mate.